what goes on? Anything goes, especially when it comes down to what Brigham Young wanted. Now, Young said there was another way in which a woman could leave a man if a woman wanted to. She could marry somebody higher in authority if he's willing to take her on. No bill of divorce required. Perfectly all right in the sight of the Lord. I know why he said that. Now, this is opinion. I told you there's no opinions unless I tell you. Young said the men were going off on missions, converting women, and if they're any good to them, marrying them and bringing them back. He said, look, chaps, don't do this. Bring them back so we can all have a look, share them out. I'm paraphrasing church history here. But that really did happen. And of course, it occurred to me that if you haven't got enough single women, go after the married ones. So if you don't fancy your husband, marry some. You can't get higher than an apostle, can you? Marry up in the priesthood. That's my phrase. I coined that. Marrying up in the priesthood. Well, that's what they did. So they'd send men on missions, and if they fancied one of the wives and she wasn't having a good time because she was about the fifth wife in a sequence and wasn't being looked after, come live with me, girl. Walk out of one home and into another. No divorce required. Now, just in case the church in 100 years' time when we're all dead, well, some of us might not be, but I will be, in case they try to say that was just more Young rhetoric and it never happened, just like they do blood and blood atonement, which they pretend never happened, and yet it survived for decades through several successive prophets until Fielding Smith didn't like them and dropped them, although he was party to it all. TMD Volume 3, read that. In case they do that, there are people alive today that can testify that it happened, and at least one person is in this room, and that's my good friend and fellow author, Arthur Evans. Where are you, Arthur? Stand up. Arthur, stand up a moment. You'll all know Arthur. If you haven't got his book, The Keystone of Mormonism, pick it up. It's out there for you. Now, stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing. Now, in Arthur Evans' book, almost in passing, he says that his own great aunt went to conference one day, married to one man, and went home married to an entirely different man, courtesy of a visiting apostle. Can you confirm that's true, Arthur? Thank you, my friend. Have a seat.
My grandfather's sister,
Phoebe,
was living in Cedar City. A general authority from Salt Lake came down and told her that the state president wanted her for his wife, and it was her duty to marry the state president. She went home with him. And her husband went alone. She took her children and went home with the state president.
Thank you. Thank you, Arthur. Bless you. I'm glad you said that because I was going to try and paraphrase that, and you've done an excellent job of that. It appears in what was said that the women had a choice, but they didn't. The women did what they were told, and in the church today they still do. Believe it or not. For those that don't believe it, you're probably a man.